What is up, 2025 Pokemon collecting gang? Hope you guys are doing well in this new year. And in today's video, we're gonna go over some of my biggest lessons, some of my biggest dubs, some of my biggest L's in the Pokemon hobby, if that was my collection mistakes or my investment gains. We're going to talk about all of that and more in today's video. So with that all being said, let's get into today's video. 2024 is officially a wrap, but what exactly did I learn from this past year? For starters, I learned that the Pokemon community is absolutely driven by hype and FOMO, and that goes for both collecting and for investments. When it comes to hype and FOMO in collecting cardboard, shiny cardboard, I think that Pokemon probably holds the top position. What I learned, especially on this back end of Pokemon, is that once a set starts to snowball, gain the momentum of FOMO and hype, there's just no slowing it down. The community will literally bounce from hype set to hype set and nothing can change their mind. For example, Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks has the big Terra Crown Pikachu when for the majority of the year, all I heard was collectors say and investors say that these Terra Crown cards are just non-investable. You can apply the same standards to the Greninja from Twilight Masquerade. And as soon as those two cards, the Greninja and the Pikachu, came out, it seems like there was a huge change in mindset and that the community thought the same. The community thought that these are now collectible and investable. Whole spectrum just changed overnight. So I thought to myself while making this video, wow, the Pokemon community can literally just flip just like that. Whatever rules that we went by when it comes to investing and collecting just goes completely out the window. I also didn't think that we would ever see any of this pre-pandemic hype once again. You know, I've seen the physical fights, I've seen the insane pre-orders. I mean, 2x, 3x the pre-order prices. I never thought that this stuff would be back in Pokemon. I thought that the beginning of Scarlet and Violet was just going to carry on through the set. Yes, I understood that there was going to be bigger sets on the back end, but for this, I didn't think this would happen. That is why I tried to shift my content to less FOMO inducing content, to just try to help my audience realize that everything's going to be okay with patience and time and all that stuff. And that's going to be my goal into 2025. Again, to just try to settle down the markets and the hobby and whoever stumbles upon my channel. So again, going back to the original lesson, hype and FOMO, I do understand that we can apply this to good things in the hobby, good things that happened. As far as people coming back into Pokemon with the 151 and the space just getting more and more eyes and more players with a TCG Pocket, there's a bunch of positivity to hype and FOMO as well. But I think that the bad actors, all the negative stuff that's come with FOMO has just been pushed to the spotlight just a little bit more. So for our second lesson of today's video is going to be that the loud minority is not the majority. Someone in my comment section recently just said that like this morning, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, they are completely right. It's tough for me because I do most of my research on Reddit and on YouTube, and due to the YouTube algorithm, it really pushes that content of the whole Pokemon space just being filled with investors and scalpers, which completely isn't the case. I always have to take a step back and remind myself that the majority of Pokemon collectors are exactly like me. They love to just rip packs like pure degenerates and chase cards and just keep on ripping and spending, hundreds of dollars to obtain a $10 chase card. Most people are just collectors. Most people don't see any of this stuff as an investment. The whole investment space is just so new, even though there's so many people interested in this space, which is awesome as well. We are just a tiny minority of the total collective. When I first created this YouTube channel, I did realize that there were people that are just so niche down to Pokemon, which they say they're the riches is in the niches. I understand that, but for me, I was like, I'm not just a Pokemon collector. I'm not just a Pokemon investor. I also want to, rip cards and do unboxing videos and stuff like that and reviews. So I did just that. I just created something something different. We got the podcast with my boy Eric, and I just wanted to provide some different content, a content creator that kind of does everything, that kind of does live streams, kind of does box opening stuff, your one-stop shop, as my YouTube channel banner says. So I try my best to provide a little bit of something. I'm even trying to do 2 videos a day on some days to try to give my total audience exactly what they want. If that's a unboxing video or some quick news. 2024 definitely tested me. It definitely pushed me as a creator to see where I stack up against some of these big dogs, and I hit some pretty big milestones for me. I got monetized and I got to that 1,000 subs, and I created a pretty awesome community, and there's so many amazing people that I get to meet in my comment section. We exchanged phone numbers, we became actual friends, so that was a huge plus to the year 2024. I guess that wasn't really a lesson, but just something that I took away from last year. But I think my biggest lesson for the year 2025 is patience. This one was an absolute blessing and a disguise for myself in both the collecting and investing space. And I think I learned more and more patience the further we got into the Scarlet and Violet era, because I kind of made the same mistake in the Sword and Shield era where I was collecting every single product underneath the sun. Not only was I going broke, but I wasn't seeing the gains for my investments, and I wasn't getting the best deals for my collection. So I told myself halfway through that I was going to shift my collection goals. I made videos talking about that I pretty much bookmarked when my mind changed, when I said I'm going to shift my collection goals into just waiting 3 to 6 months to collect singles, and just being really, really particular with what sealed items I was going to invest in. I mainly just shifted into booster boxes. I did some collection boxes here and there. I always told myself that I would do some collection boxes if they came with like a figure. I think that those are always going to do well. I personally scoop all those up. I love seeing some old booster packs with in a collection box with a figure. I think it's a really good display piece. And then I purchase stuff that just has a one-of-one promo, like a alternate art, like the Sun and Moon, like the Umbreon, Deoxys promo, stuff like that. Just something that collectors are going to want for 10, 20 plus years. And then I just dialed back on like sleeve blisters. I dialed back on 3-pack blisters, all that stuff. And I know they're going to do well over time. I've realized that even sets like Evolving Skies, those 3-pack blisters are going crazy. I understand that there's those really niche investors and collectors that want to collect those 3-pack blisters, but it's just really hard when it comes to selling those, and they just take way more space, and they're just a absolute pain to sell and hold than a booster box. So let's talk about the whole patience in investing. I dialed back pre-ordering the like Pokemon sets where you get like a bundle of an ETB, a booster box, and sometimes some blisters or something like that, or maybe one of those things. I dialed back from that because not only did I get canceled on multiple times, I also almost got scammed by a online store saying that they closed, but they were open, they wouldn't refund my money. So that's why I said on my previous video that I found it funny how people are just like, they don't understand how Prismatic Evolutions is a giant mess right now, and they don't really understand how these pre-orders work. Yeah, the pre-orders, they work great when it's smaller sets like Paradox Rift, but they're an absolute shit show when it comes to big sets like Prismatic Evolutions. Most stores, they don't get enough to fulfill those pre-orders, and I've learned that the hard way. So that's a lesson, I guess, in the year 2024, and a message I push to you guys. And if you're investing and you're like, this is how I invest at MSRP through an online store, and sets like Prismatic Evolutions is going to do well, even though it's at MSRP, it's gonna always be higher than MSRP. I get it. I get your frustration. Don't get me wrong. But Pokemon and online Pokemon stores have a lot of stuff to iron out. I also realized that it's okay to miss the boat. After Paradox Rift, I really slowed down on booster boxes. I was trying to buy 3 booster boxes per set, but I just realized, I'm like, we have time. I have time. Not only did I not have the finances to keep up with Pokemon's release schedule because I was trying to do English and Japanese, I just started to focus on different parts of the hobby that just made me a little bit more happy. If that's collecting kind of one-off Pokemon items, still Pokemon card related, but just not the traditional investment or the traditional collection, just stuff that I just wanted for my my personal collection because at that point I already shifted my Pokemon collection goals and I wanted to just get some stuff for me. My major tip for this is just, it's okay again to miss the current set. You're always going to miss out on an Evolving Skies. You're always going to potentially miss out on a Prismatic Evolutions. I missed out on Evolving Skies. I had to come to the terms that I'm never going to own an Evolving Skies booster box. I'm not going to pay $1,000 for an Evolving Skies booster box right now, unless I, flip some of my cards, grade some stuff, and then add it towards that Evolving Skies booster box. It is what it is. I'm okay. I can sleep well at night. I have plenty of Evolving Skies 3-pack blisters. I have the hanger packs of Evolving Skies. I'm good. I don't need the booster box. It's completely okay that I don't have a certain item. And that was one of the things that was absolutely killing me on the inside when it comes to collecting and investing in Pokemon, is that I missed out on a set and I need to play catch up to get that set before I miss the boat. Well, newsflash to most of my audience, you guys are going to miss the boat, and most of us can't keep up with Pokemon with our wallets. Investing just takes time and it takes patience. Like they always say, it's about time in the market, not timing the market. I can't say that enough to you guys, and I had to, drill it in my head over and over again. Dollar cost averaging is your best bet. If that's buying a sleeve blister every single week, or if that's buying one booster box a month. Small little drops in a bucket will eventually lead to a full bucket. Set small achievable goals and not these giant goals of like, I need to collect 3 booster boxes per set and I only make, $600 a week. Like that's not a great financial decision. As much as I love investing and collecting in Pokemon, it's just not going to really make me that much more wealthy. When you look at the overall gains, like I know some of you guys are gonna say, man, look at, if you bought 6 Evolving Skies booster boxes, you would have $6,000. $6,000 really gonna change your life? Not really, unless you live in the middle of nowhere with no overhead of any bills or anything. Patience is also really important when it comes to selling, because I needed some product to open for the channel, so I decided to sell one of my Lost Origin booster boxes. It absolutely wasn't doing anything, and I ended up selling the Lost Origin box to a friend, which it's whatever, but I should have waited to sell at this moment because I easily would have had 2x my money. But that is the thing with investing in Pokemon. You have to be okay with letting it go some time. I think a lot of Pokemon investors in the space, they're gonna hold this stuff for just way too long. Like I've told my audience multiple times before, it gets really tough to sell some of these booster boxes once they get to that $500, $600, $700, $1,000 point. You gotta find a big baller, a big Pokemon collector that's gonna wanna grab your booster box. Sure, if you have a reputable eBay store that has, thousands of sold listings, sure, it's gonna be easier for you. But for someone like me that specifically sells on Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp, it gets tough. It gets tough. I was thinking of offloading one of my Future Strike booster boxes, but now it's at like $300. I was having problems selling Astral Radiance at $150 when I was buying these things at $80. What makes me think that Future Strike at $300 is going to be such an easy flip? I came to the realization of that. I just sold one of my Astral Radiance boxes that I had on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace for like 3 months. I was almost at the point of delisting. I was at the point where I was like, this is not going to move. I'm just going to take it to a card show and see what I could get for it there in a few months. And they saw that I also had a Silver Tempest, so I just gave them a bundle deal. So let's talk about patience in buying your investment and collection. One of my biggest W lessons for the year 2024 was buying the sets that nobody wanted. I've been buying Vivid Voltage booster boxes. I've been buying Battle Styles booster boxes. Will those things just sit around for the next, 6 months? Probably, but guess what? They'll eventually go up when nobody wanted them. I was buying those Battle Styles booster boxes at $90. I got a guy that will still sell me his Battle Styles booster boxes for $100. Those things are going to do well over time. And if they don't, I don't care. I could sell it for whatever market is. Vivid Voltage, I'm taking a shot at Vivid Voltage. Paradox Rift, I'm taking a chance at Paradox Rift. One of my biggest L's of the year 2024 was not going harder into Paldea Evolved, even though that was my favorite set to open. That was my it still is my favorite set in the Scarlet and Violet era. Such a fun set, such an amazing set. Got one of my top 3 Pokemon of all time. Raichu in there. It's got a Tyranitar. That's all I need. And it's got a Magikarp. That's all I need. That set to me was a clear winner, and I still passed up on it like an idiot. So a giant side tip is that invest and collect what you guys want and what you guys like investing and collecting into. If you enjoy the set, then guess what? There's probably more people exactly like you that also enjoy the set. And that's gonna carry on for the next 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. There's going to be people that are just going to collect and invest what they like opening. It doesn't necessarily have to be the top sets that you only invest in. Try to take a few shots in the dark at some of these smaller plays. Like for me, if Vivid Voltage never sees $200, it is what it is. Do I think that's probable? Absolutely not. It will definitely hit $200. Same thing with Silver Tempest. People were telling me, Henry, why are you buying Silver Tempest? It's not doing anything. It just has the Lugia, yada, yada, yada. Look where Silver Tempest is now. Go back to my earlier videos. I've been buying Silver Tempest since it came out. I was a huge fan of everything. The box, the booster pack art, and of course the Lugia. It just was a no-brainer to me. Obviously, Lugia isn't Charizard, but Lugia is a top probably 10, 15 Pokemon of all time. People are going to want to open that set. And again, it is a beautiful booster box that has amazing artwork on the sides, and that I'm not gonna mind staring at that if it just sits for the next 5 to 10 years. Because we all know that eventually Pokemon cards will increase in value. And for patience when it comes to selling, again, I've sold too early. I haven't really experienced selling too late where I missed like a giant pump on a set. Maybe I'm missing that with Fusion Strike right now. Maybe I should just unload a Fusion Strike. I just don't really know how much more people are going to want these Sword and Shield sets 10, 15 years down the line. Maybe even in the Scarlet and Violet sets besides the 151. Let me know in the comment section down below if I'm absolutely crazy. But how much longer is Pokemon going to be this desirable? And when will the correction of Pokemon come? Because we all know Pokemon is popular right now, but it goes through waves. There is going to be a lull period. There is going to be a dull moment in the collecting hobby, and I'm going to be here for it. And I'm thinking with a clear mind when I say that all this stuff just can't go up forever. I'd much rather sell early than be holding a bag like the waifu cards from the Sun and Moon era, and even in the Sword and Shield era. All those people that were buying those top waifu cards are just now sitting with a $200 card when they bought at $2K or $1,000. It's just absolutely crazy. With all good times, there has to be bad times, and that's just something that I'm trying to keep a clear head with, and I tell my audience that as well. That's one major tip, that lesson that 2024 has taught me, and the past 2023 with the Sword and Shield era. So when it comes to having patience in Pokemon, pretty much the only thing that matters. It seems like YouTube, all of social media, Discord, Reddit, everyone's just having hype and FOMO, which just allows people to make terrible financial decisions, and that carries on to your collecting and your investing. The Pokemon market will absolutely punish the ones that can't have patience, and then on the flip side, it will absolutely reward the ones that have had patience. For me, going into 2025, the whole patience thing, what I'm going to continue to do is invest and buy single cards. There's so many plays to have for me to not flip, but to start selling so that I can invest a little bit more money into my personal collection. You guys know I am solely a binder collection guy. I don't really collect PSA slabs, but if there's some plays to be made that I have, you know, 2-3 extra copies of, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go get them graded, flip them, and reinvest into myself, reinvest into the channel to give you guys, you know, more content, give you guys more cameras, better lighting, all that, and etc. But I'm just going to make the easy, smart play instead of trying to, you know, really take shots in the dark, really go after, you know, stuff that's, you know, the prismatic evolutions at, you know, when it gets to $200, people are still gonna be, you know, it's the same thing can be said when Evolving Skies was at, like, you know, $400. People are like, well, there's still a 2x left in the tank. It's still gonna get to 800. Like, yeah, sure, potentially, but is that the smart risk to take? No, we don't know. We didn't know Evolving Skies was gonna be $1,000 booster box that fast. So I'd much rather take the small chance of a Paradox Rift booster box at $100 or $110, and that's gonna go to $200, and then I sell it, and then I wipe my hands clean, and we move on. I invest into, you know, a Charizard V from Brilliant Stars, and if it gets a PSA 10, I flip it, and that's it. That's a safe play. That's an absolute safe play. My cost was low going into the card. I ended up paying only $100 for a Charizard V. If it gets a 9 or 10, whatever, 9, I make a little bit of money. 10, I am chilling. You know, this stuff like that. Make the safe, easy plays. And then when it comes to your collections, I guess, like, don't overpay. Give yourself a monthly goal, a monthly limit of how much you could pay in Pokemon cards. See what the market is saying, if this is time to buy or time to sell, or what time to wait. That's why I highly recommend that you guys watch my Market Watch Mondays. I try to break down the most recent sets, and I try to give you guys alternatives. If you want some of these alternate arts or SARs, if that's in Korean, Chinese, whatever, I try to give you guys pretty much everything so that you don't overpay for cards and that we just have a much more successful 2025. But that's anything. I just hope that this channel right here can continue to bring you guys value in your collections and your investments. It's also just have fun with this. It doesn't have to be so serious. I'm gonna make mistakes. I understand that. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm literally just a guy behind a camera lens talking about fictional characters and shiny cardboard. So now I'm gonna turn it to you guys. I know it was a mouthful. I kind of went on some tangents here and there, but let me know, what was some of your biggest dubs and biggest L's in the Pokemon hobby, if that's your collections or your investments? Let me know that, or anything in the comment section down below. Literally anything. Let me know how your day was. Let me know what you guys have for breakfast. Just leave that in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, all that good stuff. Till tomorrow, I'll catch you guys with a fresh new video. Peace out.